everybody, welcome back to my homeschool. My name is Jasmine. Today's video is about my daughter Roux's specific lessons for second grade. So I know that the last video, at least the one before this recent drop, was her kindergarten curriculum, and she has learned so much more from then. And the reason why I call it like a celebration is because I am really amazed at that daughter of mine. So amazed because my daughter Roux is only 7 years old. She's turning 8 next month. In a few days, so maybe that would be in 17 days from the time that I'm recording this. And she's amazing because in kindergarten, just only 5 months after I read Treadwell and Free to her, she has learned to read on her own. And then since grade 1, she has been doing many of her lessons on her own. So today I would like to share those lessons with you. So I've recorded a video which I can link below on the lessons that I do with her and her little brother together. That would be our Bible study, our morning time, our riches would be music, art, and PE, and our history or social studies and science. So specifically for Roux, she would have a different math. Last year, her older brother, who is now off to college, worked with her on The Good and the Beautiful's math level 2, even if she was just in grade 1, because she finished K and the first level really fast, somewhere between kinder, summer, and the first part of her first grade. And then after that, I realized that I didn't like teaching math also. So I found a resource called Teaching Textbooks. So it's a subscription type again, which she does on her gadget. And she is on her last 4 lessons, and she's about to finish level 3. So after she goes through a placement test, Teaching Textbooks really starts at level 3. But even if Roux is just in grade 2, she already passed that one, and she's doing very well on that level. I have read reviews that Teaching Textbooks is gentler, so therefore, if your child is an advanced mathematician, you might want to consider Teaching Textbooks and get that off your hands. At the start of the year, we also did Matthew C. So this is Matthew C Alpha, because this had blocks, and because her little brother was doing the primer, so parang dapat siya din. Parang ganun. We ended up until here. So this is the student book. She got so bored with this one. And anyway, I was like, why do I need to do multiple maths? Wag na. And then she was also doing Elementary Arithmetic by Simply Charlotte Mason. Book 2. Where is that? Yeah, book 2, around the first and second quarter. But what I did instead of that, kasi it was already at that part where she would have to explain to me dimes and nickels. It was something that was not applicable for us since we lived in the Philippines and our currency is pesos. So I was thinking I would probably just come up with something and change it up to the Philippine currency, math. But instead of that, I had her explain to me what she learned in math. So narrate back to me. So for example, I have 10 chocolates and then barang ganyan. So ikukwento niya sa akin yung math niya. So that's what we do for math. And then also, I think I mentioned that because I was searching for a Middle Ages unit, we adopted the lesson plan in the Pam Barnhill's Middle Ages morning time, where she mapped out lessons in math from the circumference series, and then this came with, no, it did not come. I got these books from Página Pilipinas, and then I got a supplementary bundle that really went hand in hand with these books from Teachers Pay Teachers. So Roux really likes working on worksheets, like fun coloring pages, cutting pages, even if she's too good for that already. As in, he would be done in 2.5 hours every day. And then she would just keep on doing those things throughout the day. So ayan, that's my daughter. And then for language arts, what I have been consistently doing with her, so this one I would still do with her, is a well-trained mind, for the well-trained mind's first language lesson. So we are doing level 2. So this is on her level. We finished level 1 when she was in first grade. So this is like an introduction to grammar. So I also love this because I don't need to pull out different books, and it would have stories from the Book of Virtues, from 50 Famous Stories, from fairy tales, and from different stories that I would have her identify parts of speech, the noun, the adverb, and then there would be recommendations on like how we can sing different kinds of articles, mga ganyan. So, and it's scripted. And then sometimes there are copywork or dictation exercises already, even if she doesn't have to dictate yet. So I just got a notebook, a lined notebook for her. So this one I got from ilovebdj.com. And she has very beautiful handwriting. So I don't know if you can see, but there. So she would just do this for language arts. She requested for a handwriting exercise. I paused doing handwriting with her or cursive kasi nga parang pumapangit. Her handwriting started to deteriorate. So I wanted her to really do her print very well. So this quarter, fourth quarter, is the only time that I started pulling out the handwriting level 4 from The Good and the Beautiful, because she finished 3, 2, and 1 so fast. Ayan, so she's enjoying this like a baby. As in talagang, yes! As in talagang, when I put this on the table, yay! And then she really loves doing handwriting, even if I think she doesn't need it. Okay, now for Filipino, so of course the history, the social studies has more focus on her. Like she's the one who I would have narrate back, because the kindergartner hindi talaga. So we do elementary geography, we do The Good and the Beautiful, year 1, and then we skip some of the US lessons there, and we do Your Country and Mine. So we read this, we read these books throughout the week, so they're looped. I read for her the Filipino book list of Living Learning Homeschool, which is very similar to the Learning Basket's book list for Filipino books. What was difficult for me was foreign language. So we tried several Spanish lessons, but it doesn't stick. So I thought I'd just focus on Tagalog because I talk to my children in English. But I have always told them that when they're spoken to in Filipino, they have to answer back in Filipino. And Tagalog would be something that we would just loosely do. Like I would just sometimes drill them with these flashcards. So we have these flashcards in Tagalog. Ano ba tawag dito? This is Buksan, from Buksan. So I enjoy doing this. And then recently, just this quarter, we started doing Tagalog for beginners. So this is something she does on her own because the instructions are in English. And it's very conversational. So malapit na siya matapos. She's almost done. She's already on Unit 3, and we just started the 4th quarter this January or February. Yan. And it's only March. And every time I check back, it's nice. She's doing really well. So this is something that we would recommend. It's a bit pricey for a textbook, but yeah, this works. This works for us. So that's what she does for language arts and math. For music, aside from our lessons from the Blossom and Roots History and Art of Me, which is on the level 0, that's leveled with her younger brother. She does independently piano lessons from Hoffman piano academy. So when I work with her brother, she would come up in this area, and then she would do that. So they're like video lessons. She's already on unit 7. She has learned maybe about 12 songs already, and then it comes with unit studies. So if it's actually free, I think Hoffman Academy is free, but you can pay so that she can get practice sessions, which is really what improved her retention and note reading. So ayan, so meron siyang mga let me turn this over, exercises on note reading. So ayan, nakaka-widow na rin siya ng ibang songs. She would also do typing. So she's already on typing 3 of The Good and the Beautiful. Mabilis na talaga siya mag-type. I think she is on 20 words per minute already. And I know this because I also subscribe to a 5-year subscription of typec.com, which allows me to have 6 students. So even Advocacy, Pao, and Paco in the future will be able to do lessons on typec.com. Typec.com has drills. It has games na parang binabaril mo yung letters. Paco tried to start it, but because he's not yet very good at reading, we had to stop doing typing for him. But Roux thrives with typec.com. In fact, she loves it so much na wala na akong oras kung kailan ba niya gagawin. So I just installed it in her gadget so that she can choose to play it if she wants to. But her focus is the typing curriculum of The Good and the Beautiful, para it's still, it's not a gadget. And then she would just connect her tablet on a Bluetooth keyboard. What I like about Type-C is that she can type, they call it the core lesson. So she would copy in typing lessons that are actually about science or geography, aside from like just the typing drills. So that was really nice. Art, we do Waldorfish. PE, aside from the fundamental movements of the Schoolyard Co, Roux now starts formal ballet lessons. So she's in primary already. She's pretty advanced for her age. In the acts, moves, and footprints here in Santa Rosa, Laguna. And then she's gonna have her very first on-stage recital in June. So she is doing classical ballet and modern ballet. So her pictures there, her videos is what I submit as her actual PE. Now, what's also surprising about Roux is, aside from all of that she does on her own, she would read a literary book, chapter book on her own, which I got from Blossom and Roots Language Arts. So let me just show you. These are all the books that she finished reading on her own since July last year. So it's only March, and I'm so proud of her. There are some books that she didn't enjoy, but for example, El Defo, she keeps reading this again and again because it's a graphic novel. The Hobbit, I was so happy that she finished reading The Hobbit and she enjoyed it. So my prize for her would be, after reading each book, she can get a toy and we would watch the movie if there's a movie of these books. So she finished Neil Gaiman's Fortunately the Milk, The Phantom Toll Booth. Her last one was My Side of the Mountain. She enjoyed this also, Igraine the Brave. Sometimes I would, if it's available, there would be an audiobook that would be reading to her, but she would have to go through the book. And then Roux would come back to me, narrate, and then point out to me some of the words that she didn't understand. And then we would have that vocabulary lesson already. And then she also liked this version of Alice in Wonderland. The selection of her books came with a student sheet. So, wait lang. So, for example, this is a student notebook of the Level 2 of Blossom and Roots Integrated Language Arts Year 2 program called Fantastic Journeys and Perilous Quest. So, every week, she would have an activity based on that. So for example, for week 2, I think she was reading Alice in Wonderland for this one. I think, week 2. There. There would be a literature journal, so she would be encouraged to write or compose her own sentences. If not, she would draw if she can't write the whole sentence yet. And then there's copy work. There's a word list that she would have to. There are instructions like how to read it, and she would read all of them aloud to me. And then if she didn't understand the word, you would look it up in the dictionary. This is her dictionary. This one. The Merriam-Webster's Elementary. So that's what she does. And then there's a mini poem also. So she would have new words there, and then she'll have to build a poem. And there's a copy work exercise. Ayan, and a narration page. So every week, ganyan, one of those lang, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So sometimes I make her choose, what do you want to do today? Copy work or word list? Do you want to do your poem, or do you want to do your literature journal? She finished Fantastic Journeys and Perilous Quests. There are some titles I think that we skipped, but the lessons in the student notebook we still did based on what she chose to read. So now we have moved on to year 3, which is ano nga bang title nun? No? Let me just look for that. So it's still from Blossom and Root. There, curiosity and courage is the theme of this language arts for year 3. So she is now reading Ronaya, this one. Ronaya, the robber's daughter. Ayan. Year 3, instead of a poem, what is she supposed to do now? I know she still does poems. Ayan. And there are dictation pages already. So it's basically the copywork, and then I would read it to her, and then from memory she has to write it down. So she's able to construct sentences. Sometimes she would identify conjunctions or verbs and adverbs from the copywork bit. So it's a very gentle and simple way to do grammar. She loves this. I love it, especially the selection of books, because I wouldn't have known to get her those books if it wasn't because it was chosen in this very inclusive and diverse selection and beautifully themed titles that Blossom and Root has curated. I also attempt to incorporate some books recommended for literature from the Torchlight curriculum. So level 2 is logic and legends. So again, my tabs here. Supposedly this is like, it's not really like a curriculum, but the books are fantastic. Like, because of this, sometimes we go through this book, the No Nonsense Guide to Grammar. Wala lang, for fun. But actually, alam na ni Ruth based on what she learns from a well-trained mind. And then Logic and Legend, we go through this for fun. So we were able to discover these books, The Two Truths and a Lie. So basically, for every chapter, we read one story from Monday to Wednesday, and then she will have all of Thursday to investigate if this story from history or this story about science would be a truth or a lie. And sometimes it would be a context clue, like because the picture looks edited, ganyan, or sometimes she would relate it to facts or stories in history or science that she already knows, or she would like refer to, let's say, a certain insect in her insect books, mga ganyan. So it's fun. So we will keep trying to merge lessons from Blossom and Root and the literature selection of Torchlight, because what I love about Torchlight is because the themes are very, ano ba? So yun nga, it encourages your child to continue to ask questions. So the curiosity is never lost. So I think level 1 was tied to ancient history, myths, parang ganyan. And then I'm excited actually to do level 3. I already have some of the books there because poetry is Shakespeare for her level 3. Ayan, so I know it sounds a lot, but what really helped me through planning and putting together or merging these plans for my daughter and for our combined lessons with her kindergartner brother would be this lesson planner that I made. So it's just a Google Sheet file, and then I plug in there the subjects and the lessons per subject on a schedule, and then everything just automatically comes to me in a week, and then I choose from that plan. Are we gonna do this? Do we have time for this or no? And then it's such a rich way of going through their lessons every day. And I'm able to celebrate Ruth's wins and actually focus on that rather than cram and delay because of submission requirements in our provider as required by the Department of Education. Diba usually the portfolio is like parang it's a big chore. It's like I have to cram for it. So that's how I felt in the past years. But because I was able to develop a system to track for our portfolio and break down what narration will be recorded, what written work should I take a picture of and upload on the Google Drive, by the end of the quarter, we were done with it, and we were really able to celebrate everything that she's finished, accomplished, and learned. And I'm going to link those two below. I'd like to share it with you so that maybe you too will have easier days ahead. Ayan, thank you. Bye.